Good morning, traders. This is Perry Wilkie with StartupTrading.com. It is 8 minutes till 9 a.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday, March 5th. We have President Trump last night. I didn't watch him, so I don't know what was said, but the market really didn't do diddly squat since the address, so just a normal overnight action here. Uh, at 9:45, we're going to have some news. At 10 o'clock, we're going to have some news. Crude's going to be at 10:30, and the beige book is at 2. The beige book hasn't done anything for a long time, but it can be at times an explosive event. So you should just be aware of where it is, have some stops in place, but more than likely it's just going to be like nothing's going on, but it can be explosive every so often. So just be aware of that at 2. Uh, the title of my video is 2 more days until news, and what I mean by that is we got non-farm payroll Friday morning at 8:30, and we got Jerome Powell on the mic at 12:20 on Friday. And between now and then, there's some stuff scheduled, but nothing's really gonna move the market, 2% or more, in my opinion. It's not gonna be, you know, the the driver of direction. Uh, we've had volatility regardless, so we'll just go with that. So yesterday the Qs traded basically between 489 and 503. The SPY traded basically between 572 half to 585, and the cash market, the SPX, traded basically between right around 57.35, 57.40, uh, up to 58.50 was where we had. If we look at the tape, believe it or not, we have no poor structure from yesterday's session. We just have poor structure from previous sessions. So that's an anomaly of itself, having no anomaly. So uh, keep that in mind. So for positioning, not really much has changed in my opinion. I did see on Twitter one of the uh, talk was that the skew has changed from put skew to call skew. So maybe we're getting closer to a bottom, or the bottom is in, or whatever, for a few days swing at least. But the proof will be in the tape, right? So we'll have to see. So right now the Qs are trading uh, 596.68 after closing at 595.50. So we're up about, a dollar 20 or whatever on that. So if we look at today, so we're slightly above this 595. You should consider that support resistance line, and then also the 500. And you can see for the week we're still, kind of jumpy between these $5 strikes, which is around 205, 210 points on the NQ between each one of these. Looking at the SPY real quick. The SPY is currently trading at 577.15 after closing at 576.18. So it's only up about 30 cents at this point in time. Uh, and if we, so 575 uh, for the week is your largest put position that's on the tape. So to get under that and remain under that, you need, the VIX to be rising, in my opinion. And then you always want to watch like yesterday's low on the tape. To take it out and stay under it, you need to be above yesterday's high for the VIX. So keep that in mind also. And on the cash market, uh, there's some down at 5,700, potentially a floor, and then some up at 58.40 to 58.45 for the week. Uh, so that would be right around the top of uh, yesterday's session. So you need the VIX to be dropping above there. So, uh, you know, right before we got that closing sell push down, uh, that was basically because the cash was up here at 58.50. So you need to be able to push through that. So keep in mind that right around where that 330 3 o'clock 3:30 swing high was in the tape, that's that's the cash for the ES. That's should be considered the top until it's taken out and the VIX is dropping above it, and then you've got basically uh, 150 point range below that we could swing in. So we'll see if we can push up above that or not, or if we just kind of rotate back towards 57. 100, which would be around 30 points, 30, let's just call it 30, 35 points under yesterday's low. That's where this represents for the ES. So as we look at where we're at with the POX, uh, 57.90, which is right around where we're trading right now, is the point of control from yesterday's session. And then we have below that 5700 point of control that goes all the way back until September 18th of last year. Was the last time we traded 5,700 between the bells. So, those are your bogeys right now to see if we end up, by the initial balance is done, which side of this 5790 are we on? I think that's going to be telling for the majority of the rest of the session. Uh, Looking at, one time framing, ever since we put in this swing high, basically on February 19th, we've been, starting off, we were down in imbalance, and then we broke balance, and we've been on an impulse move down lower, basically ever since uh, February 25th. So, that's one, two, three, four, five, six. This will be the seventh session of this impulse down uh, move that we're on right now. And, it's not going to stop until we take out a previous day's swing high. And then we have to see if it's a one or a three and done, right? The last time we took out a swing high, it was a one and done, uh, which we're only used to really seeing that to the upside, not to the downside. Overnight action, 60.5 points for the ES. And then if you look at basically most of the markets, they're very close to unchanged. The Russell's up a point, the Nasdaq's up 24, the ES is flat here. The Dow's down 25 points. So we're basically right back into the same area that we were last night after trading higher in the overnight session. So we've got some, overnight traders that we're getting, trying to get long aggressively, right or wrong, but they've got overhead inventory that they're going to want to get rid of at this point in time. And I'm sure some of them started getting rid of stuff on this move down that started around 5:30 this morning. And then if you draw, and one of the things I like to do on here, I'm not going to do on my chart, but you can, use your judgment on how to draw the line. But you've got a downtrend line that's starting from this 5 o'clock, 5:30 time frame in the indexes, and that should be the lid uh, as far as where we come back to the rest of the session until it can be broken. And if it can be broken, all bets are off. But a lot of times when we have this pattern, what you'll see a deep flush away from that area, and then when you come back up, you'll just hit that trend line again, and then that's going to be the top, and that trend line is going to keep moving down as the session progresses, and then in the late afternoon you can wipe it off the board, but it's usually pretty good until about 2 o'clock in the afternoon when it holds. So draw it on there, and we'll see if we can start printing 30-minute bars above there. That's the tell until you get, 3 opens and closes above that bar. I usually leave it on the chart on the 30-minute bars. So there's your TA nugget for the day, I guess it is. Uh, Other than that, I'm just watching Jack's new day frame indicator value. We are going to be, we're in value, we're at value area low for the Dow, we're in the middle of value for the ES. We're still at the value area high zone for the NASDAQ, and we're right in value for the Russell. So uh, take it like we can just sit here and screw around and zigzag around for this session and tomorrow's session. To be honest with you, there is potential that we start a move, but ahead of the news, and then see what happens when the news prints, if we, like that or not. But there's another scenario where we just kind of screw around until the news actually comes out on Friday between non-farm payroll and whatever Powell has to say about that on Friday. I hope this helps. You guys have a great day. We'll see what Jack's looking at, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.